Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us, and thank you to everyone who signed up to speak tonight. The council is here to hold our annual hearing for the CDBG, also known as the Community Development Block Grant. With me this evening, as I see them on the screen, I'm going to recognize Councilman James Sanchez and Councilman Lake LeBron. Other council members will be joining us shortly. The Office of Central Grants handles the administration and supports the council in these proceedings. They are here tonight. I want to recognize Ronnie Vasquez and Cheryl Horace, who have worked behind the scenes to help this hearing happen. Thank you both for your dedication. As a reminder to everyone, this meeting will be broadcasted and recorded by the Hartford Public Access Television and will be made available on their mediums, which include Hartford Public Access TV.org, Facebook, YouTube, Channel 96 for Comcast Xfinity customers, and Channel 6032 for Frontier customers. And so before we begin, I am going to yield the floor over to Central Grants. Cheryl, you have the floor. Thank you.
Okay, great. Good evening, Council President Rosado, council members present, and all Hartford community that's here tonight. I want to thank you each for what you do and all the work you do to make Hartford a better place to live. So having said that, I'm going to launch into the presentation. So let's see, I will, let's see, share screen too. Okay, can you all see that?
Not yet.
Not yet. So then I'm not sure. Oh, maybe let's see if, okay. I have multiple screens going, so I might have.
I'll take care of it.
Well, okay, thank you, David. Okay, so should I just exit this?
And David, could we just click on this on the one pager so it's just the full screen?
Yeah, that was my problem on this. Okay, great. Okay,
wonderful.
Thank you very much. So David, you'll have control over flipping the slides.
Yes.
Okay, great. Okay, so just what you have here is a presentation that many of you have seen before, so I am not going to, in the benefit of saving time, I'm not going to go through everything that's on each slide. This is available and will be posted on our website following the presentation tomorrow. And if there are any questions, please let me know. So this is about the CDBG public hearing. Okay, so this is all about the entitlement funds that the city receives from HUD. And we are really discussing one out of the 4 categories that we receive funding in. And that is, we get the block grant, we get HPA funds, we get ESG funds for emergency solutions, and we get home funds for our home investment partnership. And every 5 years, a plan is made where the community is involved in identifying what the needs are of the community and identifying the kinds of programs that we would like to support for the next 5 years. And so we are in the middle of that plan right now. We are in the 3rd year. And so everything that we do is in a way dictated by those needs and strategies that we have already defined a couple of years ago. Okay, next slide. The annual plan is the encompassing document that houses everything that we're doing today and a lot of other material, and defines all of the HUD procedures and talks about what we have accomplished financially accomplish-wise, outcome-wise, and so forth. And we are required to publish it and release it and have people look at it ahead of time. And these are just about the dates for when these things are due. And we're in that period right now. Next slide. The eligibility for funding, because this is a federal program, is defined. And it is not that there might be a lot of interesting needs, and not only interesting, but essential needs of the city. But if HUD does not define those as part of their domain and part of their program, we can't fund them through the CDBG program. There are 3 national objectives that kind of define the scope of what's available. One is just serving low and moderate income persons, eliminating slum and blight, and meeting an urgent need. So as you know, and as you have seen from what we have, all of what we do fits into one of those 3 categories. Next slide. Inside of that, there are eligible activities, things that you can get funded for and things that you won't get funded for. And a lot of that falls within the categories that HUD has. So you've probably all heard, and we get asked this every year, about the difference between public service and non-public service, and that's the next slide. But inside of that, it allows us to know which activities are eligible. So if you are doing a public service activity, then you are providing direct service to low and moderate income individuals. Most of the social service providers are eligible for these grants. The problem with this, and as we go forward, you'll see this, is that only 15% of the allocation that we get from CDBG can we use for public service. So that limits and makes very competitive all the grants that are proposed under this category. Non-public service is much broader, and it includes housing availability, businesses, real property related services, but it also includes jobs. So that if you are only doing job training, you cannot call that non-public service. You have to call that public service. But if you are hiring people and finding them jobs, then that can be non-public service. And again, why this is relevant is because there's a lot more money available in non-public service than public service. Next.
Excuse me, I have a quick question through you, Madam President. May I? So can you go back to the previous screen, please? So public service, for example, will be the fire department, DPW. Is that what we're talking about?
No, public service are all of the nonprofits. And I think I have a slide in here, but I will tell you that 100% of the public service money goes to external organizations that are nonprofits in Hartford. 100%.
Nonprofits.
Yes. Yes.
And then the non-public service.
And the non-public service consists of monies that emanate to that we, the city, allocates to departments, city departments, as well as outside groups, nonprofits that are doing work that qualify as non-public service activities.
Okay, so then non-public service would probably, so like the fire department would fall under that.
Exactly. Exactly.
That's interesting, because I always thought the fire department is a public service.
Right,
and that's
right.
where I'm confused.
Yes, and that's terminology, right? You have to do HUD speak, and you have to read the way they define things, and that's one of those things. But yes.
Okay, thank you, Cheryl.
Yes. Okay, so the way that we decide on who will get grants and how much they will grant, how much they will get, is we try to base it in the fairest way that we can do. And so to do that, we have a panel of people who are experts, a mix of people from the community or involved in the community with expertise in these areas. And we bring them together, and they very expertly and time-consuming in a very rigorous way go through each and every application, and they are ranked on a variety of dimensions, like the capacity to administer the program, the ability to measure outcomes, to know that if we're giving you money, what are you doing with it, and are you achieving your goals? and leveraging the support of the program. So if somebody comes in and says, this is our only source, your funding is our only source, that's a little worrisome, because what if we can't fund you to that level? Would the program go away? Would it disappear? So there are all these considerations that are done. Both administrative capacity and fiscal capacity are very critical, and this is probably emphasized over and over again. It's all about the documentation, and I'm sure you've seen this before, so let's skip on. Okay, so the review panels this year, as I just said, they're all about subject matter expertise. They're drawn from the community, and they've in the past included members of city council. They're recommended, I should say, by members of city council. We rely on Janice Castle in our community outreach part of the city, as well as internal departments to provide us with names or people themselves. So for this year, what you will see is that 50% of this year's 24 reviewers were Hartford residents. And if people were not Hartford residents, they had strong ties to Hartford. Some were professionals that worked in Hartford, consultants. Some were from the business community. Maybe they did live, and there's crossover over this. There were city employees, some of whom were city residents and others were not, nonprofit employees and public employees, maybe somebody working for the state. So that's the distribution for this year's panels. We also rely on citizen participation by hearings to hear, and this is one of those places where we get to hear from you about what you think about what's going on, what you are doing, and we take that all under advisement because nothing is worth anything in this process if the voice of people who reside here and use services here is not listened to. So next. This is all about the fact that we do make process improvements. We're always looking for improvements. Some of them come from you, some of them come internally. Evan last year instituted a little report, which I have available, and I believe that the council members have access to it, but we can put that up as well, where we kind of do one-pagers on each one of these programs. Okay, next. So this is just a summary of this year of all the programs. The thing that's most important here is that we received $3,612,782, and that was a 4.5% decrease from last year. So we, as well as everybody else across the state and many other places, decreased the amount of money that was available. Okay, up to 15%, I went through this already, available for public service. 20% is used for administration, for doing what we're talking about now. Ronnie works very, very hard looking at most of the, and hopefully we're going to change this, but looking at most of the CDBG contracts and making sure everybody's in compliance, making sure that everybody's contracts are valid and so forth. So it's a lot of work. This is just a little bit of a summary of this. So for 2023, the allocation from HUD was, as I said, $3,600,000, and the community requests were $2,508,000. So that's not the city, that's just the community requests, and that was 70% of the allocation that we got. The next two boxes underneath show you that there was $1,200,000 requested. We only funded 566 because that's all that we had available out of the 3,600,000. There's 15% of 3,600,000, whatever is that number. Non-public service, there was 1,262,000, not that much different from what was requested in public services. Only the difference is that what was available, because it's non-public service and it didn't have the same stringent requirements as public service, 980,000 was given out to the community. Okay, next. Okay, so that's actually the presentation, and you can scroll to the next ones. This is our staff. We're very short staffed. We're 2 down from where we have been in the past, and but everybody's working very hard to keep up to date. So thank you. And then the appendices, which everybody can look, it's just about how we do the outreach and some of the ethics, conflict of interest, and things like that. So thank you. Thank you, David.
Thank you, Cheryl, for that great presentation, and thank you to Ronnie. You both do an amazing job. So now to the fun part. We're going to have our presentations, and first to present is Art Feltman. Art, you have the floor.
Okay, thank you very much, Council President and Council members. I also want to especially thank Ms. Horowitz and Mr. Vasquez and David Grant for putting this hearing together and giving us this opportunity. My name is Art Feltman. I'm Director of International Hartford. I'm joined by Erwin Hurst, who is our business navigator, and by Richie Feliciano, who is our outreach coordinator and the manager of One World Market. International Hartford served 100 clients in the last year. Of these, all are low moderate income. Of these, there are 43% Latino, 40% Black, 1% Asian and Middle Eastern. The point of this slide is that since COVID has ended or is largely ended, we've seen this tremendous burst of startups, of people coming into our office to start a business who are Hartford residents, who have skills, energy, education, ambition. And we put all those qualities to work to help them start businesses. When they do, they are able to earn 40% more than they did when they were working for other people, for other employers. So it's a big difference in income, and it's a big difference for their families, what we're able to do. We're now seeing three startups a week. Next slide, please. So here's one. I'm just going to go through this very quickly because we don't have much time. Damaris Bolarin, she's starting a caregiving service for Latino elders and disabled. Next slide. Yowovi Simpini, Van Block Avenue, African immigrant. We just got him a $50,000 loan for him to buy a food truck. And we provided the business plan, loan application, and so forth. No, that's fine, Dave. Keep going. Tylon Wells over on Main Street. He is a Hartford resident. He's going to have the grand opening of his urban wear store. We have helped him navigate his way through the HeartLift program. The HeartLift program is a very good idea, but the technicalities are a bear, and people are not able to make their way through it and get the money without someone's intervention, and that someone right now for many people is us. Next slide. Jesse Macias on Fairfield Avenue, also buying a food truck through us. Next slide. Walden St. Just, it's a first Black-owned pizzeria in the South End, 3 partners. They are now opening up a pizzeria and a nightclub downtown with our assistance. Next slide. Imal Walazita is a recent Afghan immigrant, and he had an IT business that he lost when the Taliban took over his city, and we're able to reestablish. He's working in Walgreens. He's overqualified for that, as are many of our entrepreneurs. They should be doing more. They should be making more money, and we've got him a private grant to get his business back again. It's up and running. Next slide. Claudette Graham from up in Blue Hill. She's a nurse and a lawyer. She's setting up a CNA training program, and we're helping her with her business plan and site selection and so forth. Next slide. Nigel Clark, business downtown on Asylum Street. He owns a juice bar. He's opening up a second store. He's run into difficulty again with the HeartLift program, and we've helped him get through the paperwork so he can open up that second store. I think I'm going to, all right, one last one, then I'm going to turn it over to Erwin. Marilyn Nazario, she's setting up a selfie museum, and we've helping her with site selection and business management training, and we wrote her business plan. And the person who wrote her business plan is Erwin Hurst. There's more I could show you, but we're pressed for time, so I'm going to turn it over to Erwin. Erwin?
Good evening, everyone. My name is Erwin T. Hurst Sr. I'm a business navigator for International Hartford. Really quick, what I want to highlight is what the pandemic did was made a lot of people actually think about what was important in their lives. And a lot of those people decided that they had put dreams of opening a business on hold. And now this presented an opportunity for them to actually start exploring those. And they came to International Hartford. And we've been able to really help a lot of people really live out their dream of opening a business. I have a master's degree in business. I write a lot of the business plan, a lot of the marketing plans, strategies, things like that. So International Hartford has really done what its mission was when it started, which is to help those people, especially underserved communities, empower themselves to build generational wealth for their families. And I'll turn it over to Richie.
Here we go.
Hey, I'm Richie. My name's Richie Feliciano. I'm the manager of One World Market. I also work with International Hartford with their business startup outreach program. And I just want to thank the city for their continuing support with the organization. I had 5 clients who plan to come to the hearing tonight if it was done in person. I work right now currently with 9 different ethnic food truck vendors. Thanks to the opportunity that One World Market presented, 2 of the food trucks now, one wants to start their own restaurant business, and a second one wants to start their own empanada business. And with the guidance of International Hartford, we're able to help them with that. So I want to, thank the city for their continuing support for the organization.
Are you on mute?
I was asking if anybody had any questions.
Councilman LeBron?
Yes, thank you, Art and team, for your continued service and cultivating these seeds of innovation for people who otherwise wouldn't have access to their own dreams and their business opportunities. So thank you for your service. So Art, there was a common theme in your presentation that I heard. It seemed more a log jam, if you will, for lack of a better word, and that is with the Heart Lift program. Now I've heard from business owners about the barriers, but I also have seen some people overcome them rather quickly. Can you explain what you see in your professional experience, you see as the barriers, and why we do see some folks that got it very quickly while others lacked? What was the difference in terms of their own resource or their own aptitude?
Well, I think it's the way the program is designed, frankly. It's the application has to come from the landlord, and landlords have varying degrees of interest in helping their tenant. So if a landlord's highly motivated, because that's what's going to get the tenant in there, they may work hard and give a lot of care to the tenant and to all the documentations required. But if the landlord is already has the tenant in hand and already has the tenant's money, they have precious little motivation to do any kind of work, do the minimal work. And so it I get to take the example of Mr. Wells that you saw. Mr. Wells had all his receipts into the landlord. The landlord said that they sent the landlord's from Norwalk. The landlord said they sent in all the receipts in order for him to start getting the money. 6 weeks ago, the Heart Lift program said they never got it. And meanwhile, he's looking to have a grand opening for his business. He hasn't gotten. He's entitled to. He's been awarded $50,000. He hasn't gotten a penny of it. And how is he supposed to finish his build out? It's maxed out on his credit cards.
Just a follow-up question, Mr. Feldman. How about owner-occupied places? I've heard from folks that they've had continuing difficulty. What would be the challenge with those folks? And I know this is not your population, but what would you think what is the issue going on there? Well,
it's like a lot of the other work that we do. a lot of record keeping is needed. And if you haven't organized your records because that's not your habit, then, you know, chasing around to try to find duplicate receipts and so forth, invoices can be a challenge. So the financial literacy and record keeping and keeping things on QuickBooks and, you know, all that boring stuff is not commonly done that well by some of our business owners. And so there's a lot of interventions that are necessary. Was I tactful enough on that?
I think so.
Yes.
Councilman Sanchez, yeah, go ahead.
Yes, and great questions, Councilman LeBron. I do want, can you share with everyone the difference between someone that is working for, let's say, Walgreens or what have you, that you mentioned, I believe, and becoming their own business owner? What's the difference in the percentage of the income or the revenue?
Well, it's a 40% difference. If you take on average all the business owners in Hartford who are residents, and you know, whether they own a business inside or outside of Hartford, if they own a business, comparing to their neighbors who work for somebody else, they could work for the Aetna doing maintenance or whatever, but they work for somebody else. The business owner will earn 40% more on average. So that's what's going on. I'm glad you raised that, though, Councilman, because one of the observations I make is that in some quarters of the city, there's a view that entrepreneurs are highly educated, transplants to the city, perhaps living downtown, having a STEM degree, and so forth, and that these are the hope of the city. And these are folks who are not from the city. And what we do in International Hartford is we work with people who are born and raised here, you know, who have skills, who have, you know, a good, strong work ethic, who have knowledge. It just really hasn't been recognized. And we nurture those folks. So, you know, it's just not true that you have to have a STEM degree or, you know, come from Boston or come from the suburbs and into Hartford in order to become an economic actor here or to an entrepreneur. We have our own very good, you know, line of stock here in Hartford that we should be making better use of.
Thank you for sharing that. And I just want to make a statement. I'm really proud of you of what you've done on One World Market. Now this, you know, the One Hartford, I think is very successful. And what really touches me is that the fact that you're working directly with Hartford residents, helping them become successful. And that's what we need. We need more of you, Art. We need more of your program. So I will be supporting you. Thank you
very much, Councilman.
Thank you, Councilman Sanchez. And I have to piggyback off Councilman LeBron and Councilman Sanchez. You know, I am very impressed with the PowerPoint presentation that you have put forth, Council, because presentations, pictures say 1,000 words, and you know, it's very heartwarming to see that you're able to help out these entrepreneurs reach their dreams, right? Sometimes all they need is just a little guidance, a little help, a little push to get there. So Art, thank you, and thank you to the great team that you have at One World Market and International Hartford, and I am too going to support your efforts. So thank you for that, and feel free to stay on so you can watch the other presentations, okay?
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you. Next to speak is Stephen Hines.
Let me get myself unmuted. Good evening, Council President, Majority Leader, and Council members. I'm here representing the Open Hearth Association. My name is Stephen Haynes. I'm a social worker and program director at the Working Men's Center here at the Hearth. I'd like to start with thanking you for your past support of our work here. That crucial funding has allowed us to continue the work we've been doing with homeless men since 1884. Our work with the men of the Open Hearth has a focus on recovery from drugs and alcohol. And frankly, sometimes we say just recovering from life. And also employment, which is the center of the work that I do, a proven pathway back from homelessness. The state and the city have made great strides in recent years on ending chronic homelessness, chronic being the key word, but we still have men that come through our doors every day of the week, 365 days of the year. During the past year, we had 143 men come through our shelter and rehousing program. Of those 143 men, 125 were Hartford residents. Of the 143 men, 52 exited to permanent housing and 118 gained employment, either full, predominantly, or part-time. I'm asking all of you today to consider funding us so that we can continue this vital work for the men of the Hearth and for Hartford. I thank you so much for your consideration and the hard work you do on behalf of our city every day. Frankly, I'm not the main event. I brought one of our residents along with me. His name is Anthony Harrell. And really, he can tell you far more about his own experience and what it means to live here at the Hearth. So I'm going to kind of get out of the way and let Anthony talk to you and field some questions. Anthony?
Yes. Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for letting me express my gratitude for people that is willing to like not give up on us and give up on a person like me, and making Open Hearth available for people in my situation, because without a place like this, no telling where I would be. Most likely still on the streets. But coming to an Open Hearth, it gave me the opportunity to get my life in order and to get the most out of life. And with not a lot of stipulations and a lot of hoopla, you know, they let you come in and they don't rush you, but they also don't, it's not like you just can just be lazy and not do anything. You know, they push you, and that's what I needed, and that's what guys in my situation need. A push, a helping hand. And since being here, I've been employed for a year at the same job, and they helped me get the job and fulfill my dreams. And only by being in a place like this, I can say that I was able to stay at work for a year, which I never could accomplish. Because being on the streets, you know, living outside, it's just was impossible to get up and go to work. And having a safe place to come to is really a game changer in my life. And being here, we have different types of groups we do, meetings throughout the day, self-help groups. And so to discuss how I'm doing and how I'm feeling, and opportunities like that is here. And the staff here is really amazing, because I've been in other programs before and the staff was completely different. Here at the Open Hearth, they have an open door policy. That's from the higher ups to the lower people that work here. Everybody's door is open throughout the day, and you just don't have to like make appointment. You just can just knock on the door and they're there. And that's a blessing right there, because you're able to talk to from the director down to the ACs. And the meetings we have here are very helpful too, because it's different types of meetings throughout the day, like I said. And it's been working for me and others in my predicament. And here also we have I deal with mental health issues, and since I've been here, I've been able to take my medication the right way, because I have a place to store them and they have the Hartford Health comes here like every 2 weeks, and they talk to us, and we can see them for checkups, dental, whatever we need. They come here, and that's a game changer too. Instead of having to go out to the hospital and to other places, they come directly here. So this program is really good.
So, hey, Anthony. So if anybody has questions for Anthony or for me?
Councilman LeBron, followed by Councilman Sanchez.
So not a question, but more so a comment. I'm sorry, it's not Mr. Haynes, Anthony.
Yes.
I want to thank you for having the courage to come before this committee and talk about your story. I know sometimes those things can be difficult, and to share your story is, I'm truly appreciative of that, because like I said, it's such a critical conversation that we all need to hear, but an important one that helps us, and we get to see the fruits of what we do. Oftentimes, you know, we fund things and we create policy, but we don't see how it operationalizes. So I want to commend you and appreciate the Open Hearth and your story in particular, and what you stated today. Thank you for sharing your story.
Hey, it's not hard for me to share my story because it's the truth. You know, it's easier to tell the truth than anything, you know, and the people here, like I say, it's not like just word of mouth here. You know, they're really, you know, doing what they're supposed to do with the help. But at the same time, like I don't want to say that it's not like they baby us neither. You know, they show the tough love we needed, and that's what I need, definitely. So it's not like we're just here, I'm just here and, you know, it's like poor Johnny. It's nothing like that here. It's, you know, you put the effort in and they'll walk with you.
Councilman Sanchez.
Yes, you know, I want to share the same sentiment as Councilman LeBron. Anthony, I really appreciate you for sharing your experience, especially just now what you just said about tough love. You know, the Open Hearth is, I hold a special place in my heart for the Open Hearth. And the reason being is because they have a structure. They have a structure to help the individuals that enter those doors at the Open Hearth versus many other shelters that I visited. I toured the Open Hearth. I understand, and I looked into the infrastructure there. They hold everyone accountable. Everyone has a responsibility. Everyone has a role there, and that tough love is real. That's what everyone needs, is that tough love to hold you accountable. And that affects your life, and that sets a role and a goal for you. And I really appreciate what you share with us. I do appreciate the Open Hearth, and thank you again for sharing. And Mr. Haynes, thank you for your presentation.
Thank you, Councilman Sanchez. And gentlemen, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Haynes, for the work that you do at the Open Hearth. Mr. Anthony, thank you for sharing your story. I always look forward to CDBG to just hear a successful story. Congratulations on your 1 year of employment. And like you said, everyone at the end of the day wants to go to a warm bed. So congratulations, the best of luck to you. Gentlemen, thank you so much for your presentation.
Thank you.
Next to present is Johnny Callis with Copa Boxing. The floor is yours.
Hi, President Rosado. It's great to see you. It's great to see all the esteemed council people, Leader Clark, Councilwoman Hercules, Councilman Gale, Councilman LeBron, Councilman Mitchum, Councilwoman Rossetti, Councilman Sanchez, and Councilwoman Surgeon. I wanted to make sure I did not miss anybody. We were looking forward to getting together like old times. As you can see behind me, everybody say hi. Hi. We were ready to come down in full force and say hello, but things changed, and we completely understand that and support that. So here we are. And we want to spend some time actually thanking you all of you for being in our corner. Over the last year, 21-22, with your help, over 100 youth, 65 male, 35 female, 60 of which were Hartford youth. We promised you last year that we would at least have 35 youth and from Hartford, and we actually had 60. We did a lot. It actually was our biggest and bestest year ever. We were very busy. We traveled across the country, across the United States to 3 national championships, the US Junior National Championships, the Christy Martin National Championships with the help of President Rosado. We went to the Silver Glove National Championships with all of your help. Also with your help, we sent a number of our girls and young men out on 2 4-day expeditions into the wilderness up in the Appalachian Trail. We successfully completed our Girls Rise program with the Hartford Foundation for Public Giving, which started over 55 young ladies in boxing and very much placed us as the biggest and bestest female boxing program in the country. We were actually featured proudly in the Current, Connecticut Current, of course. We just were able, with your help, to launch our year-long series on KOing racism in our kids' lives. Just a couple of weekends ago, we had NCCJ here for a whole weekend retreat to assist our kids in recognizing and dealing with multi-generational racism and trauma that we all face. Our younger children, with your help, were able to be involved in a Reading Partners program with the Jewish Federation of Greater Hartford. And I'm happy to say that our 2 college teams are back in action, Trinity College and the University of Hartford, and they were here to mentor and tutor and show our kids from 8 to 17 what a reality college is, and it's something that they should aspire to do. We also mobilized our youth franchise team, which is our junior business team, and they are now selling COBA merchandise and apparel, which I'm sure they will mention to you. We couldn't have done that without all of you. And we also could not have had the effect on these young people's lives without you. Jasmine Moore, Jasmine, if you'll stand, would not have come in second at the Christy Martin National Tournament or been accepted to the University of Hartford on a 75% academic scholarship if it wasn't for you all. Imagine being a great teammate and involved in all of our programs, and we have like 12 of them. Thank you, Jasmine. Jada Wyatt would not be going to University of Hartford on a full scholarship through the Hartford Honors Scholars Program if it wasn't for your assistance as well. In addition to that, Jada is a legacy member. Her father was in our program 25 years ago. She's been in our program for 4 years or so and has completely blossomed. We are so proud of her academics. Again, she too is not too bad in the ring. She received a silver medal in the Silver Glove National Championships last year that we traveled to. And we are so proud of her. Also, we had, and you had a part in helping Miss Janiyah Lumpkin go to 2 national championships. Is now rated the 2nd best youth female boxer in the United States. She has qualified for the US National Championships in December. She was also named the Connecticut Boxing Hall of Fame Amateur Boxer of the Year and was basically inducted at the dinner a couple weeks ago, and we were able to have at least 15 or 20 of our youth there along with our staff. I tell you, she cleans up pretty good. She looked like she was at the Oscars when she received that. In addition to that, Janiyah made National Honor Society and is in the Young Doctors Program at UConn Med Center. Last but not least, Naomi Cortez, our youngest female captain, is an A student involved in numerous programs. Also received the silver medal at the Silver Glove National Championships that we traveled to with your help, and also the Christy Martin National Tournament. She was a walkover champion because you know what? Nobody wanted to fight her. And with that said, I'd love for her to talk to you because I talk too much, and hear from her. And then actually one of our most awesome parents, Sergeant Irving Cortez from the Connecticut National Guard, Naomi's dad, who also has helped us a great deal and partnered with COBA and linked us up with the National Guard as well. But enough of me. Miss Naomi.
Hi, everyone. Like Coach said, my name's Naomi. I just want to thank everyone for in the council for giving me this opportunity to speak to you guys about my favorite place, COBA. I was born, raised in Hartford, Connecticut. I go to aerospace and engineering. And I've been going to COBA for probably 2 years now, and I've learned so much, and I've done so many things that I never thought I could do. I've participated in Outward Bound programs with Outside Perspective. I've done the Girls Rise program. What else have we done?
Youth franchise.
Yeah, youth franchise, where I learned about business and finance and stocks. I learned how to run a business, how to count money, and in the end, Coach had told us in the beginning that we were going to make money, and we all said, we were like, oh, we're not going to make that much. And we each ended up getting like $28, and it just felt so good to have something, and we were so excited about it. So that was a really good moment. And without the help with you guys, I would not have moments like that. So thank you so much.
Mr. Irving Cortez, Dad.
Good evening to all the members of the council. Like Coach Callis said, my name is Irving Cortez, Naomi's dad, proud COBA dad. Aside from that, professionally, also like Coach Callis mentioned briefly, I'm a recruiter for the National Guard, and I've been recruiting in Hartford, working with our city's young people for over 15 years. And throughout that time, I've had a lot of experience, working with them face-to-face, kneecap to kneecap, working with their parents, with their guardians, with all of the influencers that they have in their lives. And I can tell you that over the last 15 years, unfortunately, I've seen a pretty drastic degradation in the resilience and the mental toughness in a lot of our young people, not only in Hartford's youth, but overall, I feel it's maybe a generational thing. But I can say that the kids that are here in COBA, these young men and women, they are here not only learning how to throw jabs and write crosses and all of those awesome things, but more importantly, they are obtaining the intangibles, the skills, the qualities that are going to help them overcome those challenges that our young people are facing. Those are the things that are ultimately going to make them successful in life. I'd just like to take a moment to express my gratitude to Councilman LeBron and Councilman Sanchez. They've been there so many times in person to watch our young people box, and they've seen the success that these young men and women have had in the ring. And I can promise you that if you continue to support these young men and women the way that you have, those successes that they've had in the ring are going to pale in comparison to the successes that they're going to have in life. I promise you that every single dollar that is poured out into this place, into these young people, will be repaid 100-fold to our city by this, again, by the successes that they're going to have. And they're going to be the future doctors and lawyers and social workers and policemen and women and firefighters and future council men and women that are going to take the reins from all of you and continue to move our city forward. So again, thank you. And I ask you again, I urge you to please continue to support these young men and women the way that you have. Thank you.
I too would be remiss if I didn't thank President Rosado for her help. We never would have been able to make it to the Christy Martin tournament, who our young ladies became like best friends with. We have a personal invitation for her to come back, and we're so looking forward to it. It was a phenomenal experience, especially for our young ladies. Wouldn't have happened without you, President Rosado. Nick LeBron, as stated, always there with Jimmy Sanchez supporting. Thank you guys for supporting at the Connecticut Convention Center show that we helped produce. And you're always there for us, guiding us and supporting us in our corner. I also want to mention and thank Councilwoman Hercules, who has come here, visited, and actually is assisting us in building a large community art wall that will furnish a large mural of Willie Pep. And we're really excited about that. That's been something we've been wanting to do for 7 years. But I couldn't say it any better than you, Sergeant Cortez. That was absolutely incredible. I do want to say something. President Rosado, we have been trying to track you down. We have a plaque for you that we've been trying to give you, not for 1, 2, but 2 shows. Can we hold up that plaque? So there's a plaque that you're going to be receiving probably the next time we see you. And, Councilman LeBron has a new COBA jersey, but we also have other jerseys for the rest of the council folks, as well as a teeny token that does not breach ethics of our appreciation. So let's show those up. There we go. Present those to you all tonight, but we'll have to do it another time. We're going to hold those as collateral for you to come down. So thank you for everything. We couldn't do what we do if you weren't in our corner. Any questions?
LeBron? Yes, Councilman LeBron.
So thank you to the entire team. I feel like I do have personal connections with some of the young people there, and I love going to see the boxing. I will say though, you scared us as elected officials because we're up for re-election next year, and you said we got some future council people, so you're making us nervous. They run against us next year. So, a couple things. So the first thing is I see that you have a lot of young women and young women leaders. That is so important in our communities. We need more of that, and it's such a blessing to see so many young folks and young women striving to be successful. But just a comment in terms of what I think boxing provides, and Coach Callis, you've spoken to me, is the goals. And as these young people engage in your program, they have to set out goals and measures. And us being a goal-oriented society, this is their first opportunity to really reach goals and gain their goals. And those things translate to older life and throughout our lifetime. So thank you for your continued work with the young people. And I'm going to be coming to get my jersey. So we'll see you soon.
Councilman Sanchez?
Yes, I must admit that for the last several years that one of my favorite presentations is the COBA presentation, because it brings all our young youth that are participating here. It makes me feel so great to know that there are organizations there that are really giving a direct impact to our youth. And boxing is a form of sport where it teaches our young youth responsibility, discipline. When you have that discipline, responsibility, you learn how to prioritize, you set goals, and you gain those goals. And then you can, of course, use that towards your life for the far in the near future. So I really appreciate you, Coach Callis. I appreciate everyone who are involved. With that said, yesterday we had a presentation from our for Leslie Torres, our superintendent of schools, and I happened to mention about COBA getting involved with the school system. and she was very excited. So if, if Councilman LeBron can chime in here, so he can just share a little piece of what was going on with that presentation, seeing that he's the chair of education.
Yeah, so Coach Callis, Dr. Torres, in our presentation yesterday gave us an update on her COVID response, and then just a response in our national landscape and what's going on and how the Hartford Public Schools responding. But she was highly interested in continued partnership with COBA and super excited about the partnership between Catholic Charities and COBA for this upcoming fall, where we talked about the bullying and the de-escalation programs that we are hopeful to roll out both at Parkville and McDonough. So your outreach will continue to stretch and grow, and just know that you're not only supported on the council, but also by the Hartford Public School System.
We're very excited about that, and thank you for helping partner on that. Very excited.
Thank you, Councilman LeBron, through you, Madam Chair. Coach Callis, we're here to support you guys. When you want to get involved with the school system, I think this is a great program for everyone. Let's make it happen. Thank you, guys, and thank you all, everyone over there.
Thank you.
So Coach Callis, what can I say? You're like my hero. Just like Councilman Sanchez said, I really look forward to your presentation. And I must say to the young men and women, the sky's the limit, and we are so proud of every one of you. Continue to do what you're doing. You're our future councilwomen and councilmen. So Coach Callis here to support you. And thank you for the outreach. The percentage of all the children are welcomed, right? But the ones from Hartford. So thank you for that. Maybe next year I'll see over 100 children, and you might be knocking on a door saying you need a bigger plates, which we would totally support.
Awesome.
So with that said, please send me a list of the schedules of the trips that you have. So, always willing and trying to do my best to support you, just like my council colleagues. So thank you. And everyone have a good night. And I apologize for not being there, but Coach Callis, I will reach out to you and make that appointment. You can hold me to that.
Thank you for being in our corner, and we are really looking forward to working with the school system closer.
Yes, and also to your coach and to the parents, because this is a team, right? Everyone putting in their 2 cents. So thank you to your staff and thank you to your leadership.
To the staff, to the coaches.
Thank you. Okay, let me get my list here because these presentations are all great. I'm really enjoying this. Anna Marie Holly, did I say that correct? Anna Marie Holly?
Yes, Anne Marie. Hi.
Marie, you have the floor.
Thank you. Good evening, President Rosado, council people, and the grants administration team. And thank you so much for your time and energy this evening. These presentations have been so wonderful and inspiring to watch. And I can't imagine the difficulty of developing the city's 2022 action plan with so many worthy projects, programs, and organizations under consideration. Your efforts are deeply appreciated, and I'm grateful to speak here this evening. My name is Anne Marie Holly, and I'm the grants administrator of Big Brothers Big Sisters of Connecticut, which is formerly Nutmeg Big Brothers Big Sisters. We underwent a large merger with a sister affiliate, and we are now the state's largest and longest tenured one-to-one mentoring organization. We serve over 1,300 youth each year across our state's 169 municipalities through 4 evidence-based and data-driven program models. During this program year, this council has helped our agency directly connect 7 at-risk youth in the city of Hartford with valuable and high-quality one-to-one mentoring services. We are also serving an additional 47 youth in Hartford, and we anticipate these numbers growing even more as we continue to return to normal school and work environments. These efforts were made possible by the funding that we received through the city's CDBG grant. This year, to continue these efforts, we're requesting $25,000 of support, which is about 30% of our expected approximate expenditures. And that will directly serve at least 15 Hartford youth with one-to-one mentoring and provide their families with other wraparound services. We appreciate being included in the initial draft of the annual action plan, but I wouldn't be doing my job if I didn't let you know that obviously with more funding, we'd be able to provide even more children with our services. Our application has the support of Speaker Matt Ritter, who knows our organization well and the impact our programs have on the youth we serve. So for example, last program year, despite it being a difficult one, our mentees experienced the following changes. A 20% increase in the number of high school youth who plan to attend college, a 72% decrease in the number of youth who reported experiencing an instance of school discipline in the last 90 days, and a 23% reduction in the total number of depressive symptoms felt by youth over the previous week. This impact is largely generated by a service delivery model that's been honed, improved, and strengthened over the past 100 years of Big Brothers Big Sisters programming. Each mentor and mentee match is made through an enrollment process focused on child safety and reflective of best practices, and then they transition to be supported throughout the relationship with case management procedures that focus on healthy, enduring match relationships, and they work toward youth identified goals. This impact is best perhaps captured by little brother Demarius, who's almost 10 and a city resident. He is mentored by Julie Herring. Demarius lives with his mom and a brother who has special needs, who requires a lot of his mother's attention. So Demarius was referred to our program and was matched with Julie in 2018. Before entering our program, he did not like to read, but he did love music, singing, and going to concerts. We found his perfect match in Julie, who was studying violin performance at the University of Hartford. And the time that followed, the two bonded over their love of music, attending concerts together, and Julie even performing Happy Birthday on violin for Demarius's birthday. Once the trust was built between them, Julie spoke with Demarius about how reading well can lead to many opportunities, and even compiled a summer reading list for him. As a reward for reading 10 books throughout the summer, Julie then took Demarius to Mystic Aquarium. Throughout COVID-19, the two met on Zoom to read together, including topics such as penguins from the aquarium that they saw, and have held porch picnics at Demarius's house to work on homework and to talk about music. They're happy to be able to meet again in person, and over the last 4 years, the growth in Demarius and his interest in learning and love of music has been undeniable. We hope that the council will support our full application and consider increasing our CDBG funding amount so that we can have a similar impact on more youth in the city of Hartford. Thank you again for your time. I'm also taking note that next year I will bring some of our great youth to speak on our behalf, because those were some really tough acts to follow, some wonderful organizations. But again, thank you so much for your time and consideration.
Of course, Anne Marie, and thank you for sharing that heartful story with us. Are there any questions from our council colleagues? Okay, great. And so we look forward to seeing some of those stories next year. Thank you for your presentation.
And I'll be sure to send over some pictures of Julie and Demarius.
Yes,
so you guys can
absolutely.
see those
I
as well.
encourage everyone to please send us your presentations, okay?
Great, thank you so
very
much.
good grants. Thank you. Next to speak is it Mimi Chung? Do we have her on the screen?
Hi, I think it's Molly Reynolds first before Mimi. I'm Mimi and
I apologize. You are correct, Molly.
yes, hi.
Hi, I apologize. I skipped you over.
That's
You have the
okay.
floor.
It's been a long time already. So yes. So hi, I am Molly Reynolds and I'm with Hands on Hartford. I manage our shared kitchen program. I also just was asked by my colleagues here at Hands on Hartford to thank the council for your support of our HPA program as well. I know this isn't the moment to speak about it, but they wanted to make sure you all knew that that was very valuable and meaningful support. Just know that it means a lot to our organization and the people we serve. So the Shared Kitchen program at Hands on Hartford started in 2017, and it really started when we moved into our new building, what was at the time new, at 55 Bartholomew Avenue. We consolidated programs from different locations in Hartford and bought what was known as at that time, the old Spaghetti Warehouse building. And when we moved into that building, it came with a huge commercial kitchen. And we were working with a consultant who was helping us figure out what to do with the kitchen. And she said, have you ever thought about doing a shared kitchen program? There's kind of a need for that in Hartford. And so we said, no, we hadn't thought of it, but we'd consider it. And then it kind of looked around. It seemed like it made sense that there was this need for a shared kitchen. And, you know, we really looked at it as a way to use this asset in our building to earn some revenue to pay for our other programs like our community meals program or our food pantry. And then in 2019, we applied for and received funding from the city of Hartford through the CDBG block grant program. And that was a program we did in conjunction with Hartford Reset. We really thought, like, let's use the kitchen and think about, are there ways we can actually support businesses? Instead of just looking at it as a revenue driver for Hands-On Hartford, it was, we have a real program opportunity to help small businesses. And so the partnership idea was that we would provide kitchen space and kitchen membership and coaching, and Hartford Reset provides an incubator program. It's a really great 12-week intensive program that teaches businesses, especially beginning businesses who might not have a lot of experience, how to run a food business. And that has been very successful. When we did that the first year, we had the participants did a pitch event at the end of the 12-week program. We did it in a meeting room at Reset and had a little informal food tasting at the end. Then we had 2 years of virtual pitch events during COVID. And earlier this month, we had our pitch event. I don't know if any of you were able to attend the foodie demo day at the Parkville Market, but this year we had over 200 people in attendance. It was wildly successful. We're really part of many efforts, like art's part of it too, to really create Hartford, that presence of us as a food-friendly city. And we're very proud of that. We've now had 23 businesses who have been able to benefit from CDBG funding. And 30 of our kitchen members, some of them did not receive the CDBG funding, but they still participated in the food incubator program. Also here tonight are two of the most participants in the most recent food incubator, Mimi Chung, who you'd mentioned earlier, and also Gigi Lawrence. So I think they're much more interesting to hear from than me. So I'd like to turn it over to them.
Hi, everyone. I'm Mimi Chung. Thank you all for having me here. So my business name is Black Sesame. And I am a part of the grant that Molly mentioned, or the program that Molly just mentioned. And I'm here to talk to you about the impact it has made on me and how it has helped me. So I bake cakes, and I learned how to do that during the pandemic. So it is very, very new to me, and I'm still learning. And when I received the grant, it was really the catalyst of me kicking off the business, or really moving forward to actually starting a business. And I don't think I would have done it had it not been for the grant. And I say that because, like I said, I'm very new to baking, and having learned what the startup cost would be to start a business and to get a license is very high. So being a member of a kitchen, and then the hourly costs, having the ServSafe certification, and then never mind everything else that comes along with it. But having that help and saying that, well, we can help you with this as a first step was huge for me. So I figured, why not? And that's how I moved forward with starting a baking business. And then from there, though, it was just a whole domino effect of being a part of this community. So Molly has been a huge help in terms of what I need to do. It's not just about getting a license, it's also getting the insurance and then doing this and doing that. It's a really daunting process to be an entrepreneur. And so there was Molly, and then also having the grants. I was also grandfathered into the Reset Food Incubator Program. And as you guys probably know, that's a whole other fountain of resources. So it's amazing. It's a great program. I'm so fortunate to be a part of it. And like I said, I just don't think I would have started a business and have learned so much if it weren't for that, because I would have been very, very scared to even start it, knowing all the costs involved and everything I had to do. But having that financial support, but then also the community was just great. So thank you.
Thank you, Mimi, for those comments. Is Grace Ann here, Molly?
Yeah, she's restaurant.
Oh, okay. You have the floor. Hi.
Hi, good evening, council members. I am Gigi Lawrence. I'm Chef Gigi. I'm the owner and founder of Restaurant. Just to give you a little bit of background about what Restaurant is, it is a Caribbean-infused vegan cuisine, provisioning wonderful eating experiences to all who dare. My mission is providing unexpected experiences of vegan food with aroma, taste, and the authentic Caribbean spice, while helping people on their journey to healthier lifestyles. I walked into Hands on Hartford in January 2022. And that's where I met Miss Molly Reynolds, who has been amazing since the day I met her. It has been a beautiful journey. It has provided the opportunity to get to the next level. 5 months later, while being at Hands on Hartford, not only have we strengthened our connection in the community, we are now in 5 farmers markets. We're also a featured vendor for Hartford's professional soccer team, the Hartford Athletic. Through Hands on Hartford, we were also presented the opportunity to be a part of Reset's Food Incubator Program. This program, led by the amazing facilitator, Steph Robles, allowed us to focus on what it takes to create a sustainable, impact-driven food business. The best experience, I would say, while being at the Food Incubator was connecting with mentors, investors, and other inspirational entrepreneurs, just like Mimi. In the next 6 months, Restaurant will have a food truck serving up delicious plant-based Caribbean-infused meals. We will also be in schools, educating the youth about how fun eating healthier options can be, while demonstrating how these meals can be prepared. So eating Restaurant, you'll get time back, better food choices, overall improvements to metabolic health, and delicious Caribbean-infused plant-based meat alternatives. With the help of the CDBG funding, Reset, and Hands on Hartford, I was able to offset some business costs and grow my business. Thank you for your yes, and thank you for believing.
Thank you for that beautiful presentation. Congratulations to you both, ladies.
Thank you.
And you'll have to send us your address so that I can go visit and taste the food.
Yes.
Yes. Please share that information with David Grant. I know that you guys have your emails. I can't stress that enough. And I have to say, Molly, I'm never going to forget you. Never going to forget you, because this is the first time ever in my life that I'm in a room or share a screen, even though our names are spelled different. It's Molly. So every time somebody says their name, I tend to look, but they're speaking to you. So thank you for your presentation, for the great work that you do at Hands on Hartford, and I will open up the floor to my council colleagues. Councilman LeBron or Councilman Sanchez?
Yes, so I just want to again thank Hands on Hartford. not only for the work with this entrepreneurial program, but the tremendous amount of work you do for the disenfranchised and the disconnected and folks who are in need. As a social worker in my day job, and Hands On Hartford is the first go-to. You guys provide so much and help so much in the community. So thank you for all of your services, and thank you to the two restaurant owners and for your successful visions and having your dreams come to fruition. So thank you.
Councilman Sanchez?
Yes, I want to share the same sentiment. Thank you for all the work that you do, and also the presentation by Mimi and Restaurant. Looking forward to trying their foods out. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ladies. Please, if you'd like to stay with us on the screen. Next to speak is Brett Sandman. Brett Sandman.
Good evening, everyone. I would just like to say thank you to all of the members of the City of Hartford Council. And I am the new Social Services Director for the Salvation Army here in Hartford. And what I'd like to talk about today is the generosity of the council supporting our Bloom Initiative, which is the Salvation Army's first program for survivors of human trafficking here in Southern New England. We started in 2017, and we work alongside survivors on their path from exploitation to empowerment. We allow survivors to choose their own goals and their plans for achieving them, and we acknowledge that they are the best authors of their own life stories. The Bloom Initiative is a long-term, 12 months, three-phase case management program for survivors of sex and/or illegal trafficking, and we provide year-round services. In addition to street outreach and trauma-informed survivor and centered case management, we also provide financial assistance to survivors and community education to identify survivors who reside in the greater Hartford area. And also, due to your generosity, we anticipate serving more than 20 trafficking survivors ages 16 and up through this intensive one-on-one case management. Over 40 people that are currently reachable through our street outreach program.
Brett, can I ask you, can you tell me those figures again?
Yes, I'm sorry. I hope I'm speaking clearly.
No, you are.
So we anticipate serving over 20 survivors of sex and/or labor trafficking over the ages of 16. We are forecasting more than 40 people we will reach through our street outreach programs. And also we are planning to train over 150 people through our awareness training and response. And this includes staff of social services agencies, law enforcement, medical and mental health professionals, outreach workers, shelter staff, and other groups as needed or requested. And some highlights from our program so far, focusing the street outreach on marginalized populations, identifying and building trust with survivors is critical to them developing the courage to take advantage of all of the services that we offer. And also in our outreach program, we partner with law enforcement to identify where to focus our efforts. Some of the areas that law enforcement guides us to are known for trafficking and some other illegal activities. When it comes to delivering our comprehensive case management to all survivors, one of the things that we help them do is become self-sufficient and also learn how to keep themselves in safe environments. And a lot of that is done with providing their foundational needs, but also supportive connections to tailored services because each individual has different needs. Hosting the community awareness events and also the trainings, we want to make sure that people can recognize human trafficking and also know what resources are available. The case management is flexible. We have trauma-informed care office spaces that we provide to all survivors, but as they become more self-sufficient and feel more comfortable and safe, we may have meetings at area coffee shops, libraries, schools, and other locations that the survivors desire to continue meeting with our staff at. We also, through the COVID-19 pandemic, we've also done some virtual support for our survivors using all available technologies to include Zoom, Teams, text, and regular phone calls. Most of the survivors, when they're new in our program, they will meet with a dedicated specialist once a week, maybe twice a week, or every other week as desired, as needed. And as they grow through the program, they may need to meet with us less frequently, but we make sure that they know we are still available. We help them with goals, plans, and budgets, and we update those every 3 months or more frequently as each survivor desires. And so I just wanted to say thank you again. And by the way, I'm new to this role, and seeing all of these other organizations and speakers talk about everything they're doing here in Hartford is amazing to see. So thank you.
Thank you, Brennan. Thank you for your leadership, and you are doing an amazing job. So quick question. Do you guys have a relationship with the Hartford Police Department? Do you guys work together with their officer that's assigned to human trafficking or not?
We do through the survivor support specialists. They have a lot more direct interaction with the Hartford Police Department and other organizations, but I would say yes, we do.
Wonderful. I'm going to open it up to my council colleagues now. Councilman Zerkas?
Yes, through you, Madam Chair, I just want to say thank you so much for your hard work, Mr. Sandman. I love your last name, by the way. And,
Thanks, sir.
I do know that there's a real and serious issue with this illegal transportation of young men and women, specifically women. And I'm curious as to how, do we have a percentage of what's going on? Is there a seriousness or a serious percentage of that happening here in the city of Hartford?
So I would say that we have a very close relationship with the Department of Children and Families. And thankfully, due to that very strong relationship, we unfortunately have actually seen their waiting list grow through no fault of their own, because they're an amazing organization and they do great work every day. But we partner with their leadership team to, via an established referral system, take care of those individuals. And I would say that, and I mentioned these numbers earlier in the presentation, talking to the experts who have been a part of this effort much longer than I have, they think that this is one of those things that is unfortunately possibly underreported. Not just here in, the greater Hartford area, but also, statewide and honestly, even beyond the borders of Connecticut. So, but we are always, very sensitive to that reality. And that, I think, is one of the big reasons why we continue to make changes to and evolve the outreach program.
Thank you so much. And thank you for your hard work.
Thank you, sir.
Councilman LeBron?
I recently had a trip and a conversation with the folks at the Broad Street Juvenile Detention Center. How if any, is the relationship there?
So our primary focus is really, like I said, we have some age groups. Now, we have had some requests to provide services to, people under the age of 16. And so we're learning more about this and continuing to evolve our organization. But the reality is that, unfortunately, some people under the age of 16 are actually maybe just need some help, and maybe even their families need some help in, warning signs, behaviors, how to protect themselves. And so, like I said, we're continuing to evolve the program. We're continuing to evolve the Bloom Initiative to meet changing needs. And I would say we have multiple partnerships. I'm honestly still learning because we have so many partner organizations. federal, state, local, other nonprofit organizations, and also some business partnerships that the nature of what we're seeing is changing. And I think we need to stay flexible and also be open to establishing new partnerships to continue to support these survivors.
Thank you. And I agree with the last name. It's pretty awesome. Yeah, so, just we can speak offline if you want to connect or make any connections. I know you're new in developing the relationships, but I heard a staggering figure from one of the staff there that 90% of the young women are suffering from the same things that are in the juvenile detention center at Broad Street. And it's just, it is incredible, just sad story. So we could connect offline, Mr. Sandman. I would love to meet with you and see how I can help in any way, or my office can help in any way, whether it's relationship connections or other opportunities.
All right, thank you. I am looking forward to setting up a future conversation with you.
Thank you very much.
And that goes for me too, Mr. Sandman. If David, if you can reach out to Mr. Sandman by email, I'd like a meeting, and I'd like a tour of where you're located. Okay.
All right, thank you. Happy to arrange that.
Okay.
Include me on that, please. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. So I only have a sheet here in front of me, but Mr. Sandman, do you remember how much you asked to be funded in the CDBG? Or I don't know if Cheryl.
Yes, I do have that. It was
Yes.
$25,000 was our request. And, like many of the other organizations mentioned, what we're doing, honestly, every dollar counts and every volunteer hour counts. And that is just the reality of the services that we provide.
Thank you.
Thank
And
you.
I am going to work on getting you that amount. Okay.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Okay, please feel free to stay on if you want to watch any of the other presentations. If not, have a great evening. Let's see here. Next to speak is it Dory Hunt? I don't want to jump over anyone. Dory Hunt?
Yes, I'm next to speak, but
Hi.
I'm going to let Ana Cuevas, who is also in the same organization, Hartford Artisans Weaving Center, go first, and then I'll follow her.
Wonderful. Anna, you have the floor.
Oh, thank you. Good evening. Thank you for having me. My name is Ana Cuevas. I am a Hartford resident. I live at the South End. Currently, I am an artisan at the Hartford Artisans Weaving Center. I'm also a member of their board of directors. I want to first and foremost thank you for giving me the opportunity to talk to you and the council members about my home away from home. By academic training, I have a master's in sociology, and one of the first things I learned about my discipline is why we study, why people do what they do. And I guess I am here to talk a little bit about why I like weaving. I think as a sociologist that we are living in a very fast paced world right now, where everything is done in an instant. And weaving is one of those things that takes three things: perseverance, persistence, perseverance, and patience. As a blind woman, this is the first time I have been able to participate in an art program. The mission of our organization is to enrich lives through hand weaving, and the organization meets those expectations. We have a team of volunteers, so the staff and volunteers make this possible. I started weaving with them 4 years ago, a little bit over 4 years ago, and one of the things that I have run into often as a woman with a physical disability, a visual disability, is you can't do this. The center is one of those places where we learn that there are aspects that we will not be able to do, that I cannot do as a blind woman. And yet I have gotten the opportunity to focus on what I can do. What I can do is weave. I cannot thread the loom. I cannot dress the loom because there's a lot involved in weaving. But I can weave. I can sit in my chair and I can create pieces that are available for the community to see in our exhibits or to come to our store and buy them. That is important for me as a Hartford resident, because like every other major city, this city has its complexities and its difficulties, and yet it's important to have a program where people 55 and over and or men and women who are blind or visually impaired of all ages have the room to create and construct, to give back to their community. And, you know, that to me is just important. I think that life for me is about building, and making my pieces has given me the opportunity to be productive and to give back to my community. But to talk about the Weaving Center, I think someone would really have to have the experience, and I would certainly like to invite all of you to come and see the center on Woodland Street and see what we are about and see what we do, see our pieces, meet the men and women that are there every day. We have our open house in November, but you could try to come before and see what we are about. Again, I thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak about my home away from home. And if you have any questions, and I would be more than happy to answer.
Well, thank you, Anna. This is so inspiring. And, you know, a lot of people have said, you know, why don't you try weaving? It's relaxing, it's stress relieving. So I was just going to ask you where your location was. So what number of Woodland Street?
42.
Okay. And I'm going to take you up on that.
Oh, no, seriously. We love to have people come in and visit us. And again, I could start talking to you about weaving structures and all the things that I have learned, thanks to the staff and volunteers, all the help, all the friendships I have built. But you would really have to come in to see it and experience that for yourself. I think that is the best part about weaving, to see it, to be there and be present.
Wonderful. And I'm going to bring along my council colleagues here to come and visit with me. Councilman Sanchez or Councilman LeBron, do you have any questions for
Yes.
Ana Cuevas? Go
Yes,
ahead.
through you, Madam Chair. I know Dory Hunt is wanting to speak too, but
yes.
I mean, Anna, thank you for sharing your story. It was truly, truly inspiring. Like, I was very moved. Not only did I hear about what weaving does for you, but I also learned a lesson in terms of how you view society and how we're a fast-paced society. So you also taught me a few things as well. So I got a sociology lesson alongside the impact of weaving. So I appreciate you, and I appreciate all that you do, and the story and how impactful this program is for you. So thank you for sharing.
Yes.
Thank you.
And I just want to say the same thing. Councilman LeBron got ahead of me to my words, but thank you, Anna. Very inspiring. God bless you, and looking forward to taking that tour.
Thank you.
Well, I wanted to share with you what Anna has accomplished. She's taken what's essentially string, and she's made it into beautiful things. This is an example.
Oh my God, Anna, that is beautiful.
And I'll show you one other thing.
Beautiful.
Very nice.
These are both towels. And this is the sort of thing that is made by our artisans at the Hartford Artisans Weaving Center. They are people who are either seniors or have low or no vision. And studies have shown that seniors and people with disabilities tend to get isolated, and isolation can lead to depression and lead to other physical disabilities. It just exacerbates problems. Our center provides a social outlet and a creative outlet. As Anna said, people who are, when they're children, They don't get art in school. And nobody thinks they can be creative, and they're very creative. They come in, they learn to weave, they learn to make these things. We sell everything that is made there, and the people who have made these items get some of the funds. What this provides for many is a means of income. We have, for instance, one of our artisans who became blind as a young mother, never had a chance to contribute to her family's finances. And she said it was so just encouraging to finally get what she called a paycheck and be able to be fulfill that part of the family. People who have been told what they can't do or can no longer do, in the case of seniors, that's another way that is very depressing for them. But we tell them what they can do, and that will help them do it. It's a place where all sorts of things are possible. For many of our artisans describe the Hartford Artisans Weaving Center as their happy place. So we want to thank you all, the staff of the Grants Administration, President Rosado and Mr. Lebron and Mr. Sanchez for listening to us. And we also, I want to echo what Anna said. We want to invite you to come in. We are at 42 Woodland Street. It's just down the street from St. Francis. And we are open to the public. We have a little boutique, and our artisans love to share what they know about weaving. And I'd love to answer questions.
Sure. So Dory, if we wanted to take a tour, would it be better if my office contacted you instead of just us showing up to just give you a head's notice? Because we would really like to.
It's probably, it is probably a good idea to call to make sure that something hasn't happened or for whatever. Yeah, it's a good idea to call, but we do have people who just ring our bell and say, oh, I've heard about you and I was passing by. So come in. Yes, Mr. Sanchez.
Yes, through you, Madam Chair. I definitely would like to get the information because I would like to help promote your site.
Thank you.
Folks over. Great talent.
A lot of people are very surprised to find out that there's a little manufacturer like ours in the middle of Hartford.
That is just so wonderful. It really is. It is very touching. And again, Anna, thank you for sharing your story with us. Okay, so please feel free to stay on with us. Okay, so next to speak is Deborah Rogala.
Yes, Deborah's not with us today, so you have me. We're both from the same program.
Wonderful.
I'm Virginia Lewis from Community Partners in Action, and with the resettlement program and our reentry welcome center.
Virginia, it is a pleasure to meet you. Finally, I can put the name with the face. Thank you for your leadership. Thank you, thank you, thank you. But continue, please.
But I want to, I in this meeting, I'm born and raised in Hartford, and I would tell you guys, I am so impressed with what we have going on right now. It really makes my heart feel good.
Yes.
So, thank you for funding these organizations. It's fantastic.
Yes.
Now, our Welcome Center, which has our resettlement center as part of CPA, is a fantastic way to welcome our returning citizens that have come from incarceration. We have grown so much with your support. I mean, we have grown so much because we used to be located in City Hall. And some of you have come down to see us when we were in City Hall. But what we do basically is any of our citizens that are returning to Hartford are dropped off at our door. In the past, our women would arrive like at 6 o'clock in the morning and dropped in front of Circuit Court 14 with their bag and the clothes they had on. Our men were dropped off at Hartford Correctional with the same thing. with no other support. Today, they're dropped off at our door with our connections and our relationship with the Department of Correction. And what we do, we help them to monitor, to flow through this system, because it's complicated, and how to get yourself started when you get out of prison, where to go for services, who to talk to, do you have a place to live? And I would say that our organization was first, when we first opened up, our main clients were people that were end of sentence. And by end of sentence, I mean no probation and no parole. They were just dropped. And through some of the work that we've done, we had more ineligible clients than we had eligible clients. And that's because a lot of our people coming out were on probation, were on parole. And so at that point, they didn't qualify for our services. And guess what happened? Because we did the job that we did, now anybody coming out of corrections is eligible for our services. And more than that, anybody that has been involved in the criminal justice system is now eligible for our services. I don't care if you've been out, if you've been in prison for 1 day or 25 years. You can come to us and we will provide you with those services. And again, that comes from the continuous support that we're able to get. And we just moved from City Hall to a new location, 716 Windsor Street. And we were able to accomplish that through getting additional funding because of the work we do, we got the support of additional funding to help us get into that building. And I think what's amazing about this building that we have, we've had 40 partners that support us through this process. And part of that is definitely the city, is one of our main partners. So now we're in a building at 716 Windsor Street, where our partners could also be with us. Okay, so it's like a one-stop shopping. You drop the person off on Windsor Street and they be with us for the case management, but they need a job. I send them over to Mary Hennessy, right next door, in the next office. Not down the street, not in another building, but right there with us. So I'm so happy about where we're at right now. And even during the pandemic, we never missed a beat. We were always in that office when somebody was dropped off, even when other programs were closed. We had staff on board to take that individual and make sure that person and at that point we had some funding for housing, make sure that person was in our system and we were able to work with them virtually if we had to. Through that process, we were able to get our county cell phones. That was one of the big things that came out of the pandemic. And this came through other resources. We had volunteers that would actually help us support that telephone effort. And we had additional funds that helped us get phones for all our clients that came to the center. So we had a way to connect with them during the pandemic. Again, through this relationship with the Department of Corrections, we have monthly meetings with them so we know who's coming out, so we can be there for them. Unfortunately, one of the things through the pandemic, which hasn't resolved itself yet, we haven't been able to get back into the prisons. So what do? We can't go into prisons, but we can go into halfway houses. So we established relationships with all of the halfway houses in Hartford. And now we're working halfway houses, because that's part of COD, to help that group of individuals, men and women, transition once they get out of the halfway house to transition back into our community. So I think we couldn't get it one way, so we have to work it another way. And again, I'm talking about the expansion from moving from City Hall also allowed us to go for additional funding to get to start to deal with the people that are on parole, the people that are on probation, and the people that have been incarcerated for over like over a year to come back, and we thought to support them as in case management. So any citizen that has what we call a inmate number can come to us for services. And if they have a spouse or a significant other, they too can get the services. Some of the expansion we want to do is actually start to make sure that we start to work at the families and start to do family reunification with our partners. So it's an exciting time right now at CPA and our reentry center. And again, that could have never even started or even been a reality for us if we didn't have CDBG funding, because that's where it all started. That's where the foundation of what we do is happening. And I think again, I'm so, I would say I'm so impressed, but I'm so happy that we have the city's contribution, because even in the city hall, we were able to get in there through working with the mayor. We wouldn't have been able to get that done if the mayor and you guys hadn't given us that kind of assistance. So I invite you to come to 716 Windsor Street, to come and see this site. You're going to be blown away. You're going to be blown away. And we're going to have a ribbon cutting ceremony July 15th, but I want you to come before that, because I want you to see and have a chance to tour the building and talk with the staff. Yes, sir.
Thank you, Ms. Lewis, for that great presentation. Councilman Sanchez?
Yes, thank you, Ms. Lewis, for that presentation. I'm really excited. I'm looking forward to take that visit and the tour. I'll be honest with you, I wasn't aware that you moved out of City Hall. It's been a couple of years that I visited over there, and because of COVID, as you know, we've been restricted most of the time, and being present around City Hall or anywhere else for that matter. So are you located a catty corner to the Phoenix Society?
Exactly. We're in the, yes.
Okay, so Council President, is it possible we can schedule a tour?
Yes, my office will be reaching out to you.
Thank you so much.
Yes, are you done, Councilman Sanchez? Councilman LeBron?
Yes, through you, Madam Chair. Ms. Lewis, thank you again for your service and your continued innovation in serving, our reentry population. Just a quick question. Are we able to serve folks that come home from the feds?
Well, we have that request, and you have a boss like I have. Yes.
Okay.
Definitely. If they're involved in the criminal justice system, we're going to serve them.
Okay, thank you.
That is wonderful, because you did say anyone who has an inmate number.
Yeah, but at one time we didn't serve them, but now it's like people are knocking at the door and we don't turn anybody away.
Yeah, well, I must say you have grown, because there was a time we weren't taking in parole, right? Because they had to report to their parolee. But before I ask you a couple of questions, Councilman Sanchez, you had another question?
Yes, thank you, Madam President. So I'm just curious. So what's the percentage, if you know, what's the percentage of the intake of Hartford resident versus residents from other, our neighboring towns? One, and two, are our neighboring towns also supporting this effort in funding at the very minimum?
Well, first of all, the percentage, I would definitely, I haven't got the particular numbers, but over the years, I would say 75% of our client base is from Hartford, from the Hartford area. All of CBG, of course, is from the Hartford area, but we had one program that just came in from the city, people over 90 days, they have to be in the Hartford area. So I would say at least 75% of the client base that we have is from the Hartford area. Okay. As far as do they support, there's no funding. We have federal funding. We go out for, we go out for a number of different fundings, but there's no real funding source that comes out from the other cities. I would say that there is funding that comes out from the other cities through churches. We are heavily supported by churches. So there's churches that have that are in Guilford. There's churches that are that are not affected as much by the criminal justice system, that they fund us. They basically deal with our hygiene products and stuff like that. And they have drives for us on a regular basis. And have been supporting resettlement for many years.
And the reason why I asked this is because I before being on council, I'm in my 7th year, 2nd term now. But prior to that, you know, born and raised in Hartford, I know historically, and to your point earlier, is that whenever someone comes out of prison, they're transported directly to Hartford, whether they're from Enfield, Windsor, West Hartford, what have you. They're for some reason just brought to Hartford and just planted there in Main Park over there in the Barnard Park and left stranded.
Yes.
And that was just astonishing to me. And I am so grateful that we have this program. I'm so grateful that you're there, you know, managing the program as well as the rest of the staff. And I think this has been one of the most successful programs that the city has created. And thank you for your service.
I would tell you that we're the model right now. People are coming to us to see how to work this thing. These people in Connecticut, but that's inspiring because anybody that's incarcerated needs some support when they come out. So I'm excited that people want to emulate the things that we're doing. And again, I have to tell you, if you guys didn't start it, we wouldn't be here.
You do get them registered to vote, right?
Oh, yes.
Councilman LeBron?
Yeah, I just, director, is it CEO or director, CEO? Or CEO, Lewis, right? You the
No, I'm
CEO?
not that big. My title is program manager.
Okay, program manager. Would CPA ever consider, say, for example, if, you know, elected officials reached out to our suburban communities, and since we are the innovation hub, instead of them recreating the wheel, potentially funding your particular program to serve the reentry populations from the surrounding communities, would we consider or entertain that?
Well, I wouldn't know how to ask that because I'm not the CEO, but I would look at.
Cheryl, you had you wanted to say something?
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, Virginia, I think you alluded to this, but I actually was part of a grant that was just a federal grant that was just awarded to Hartford and Waterbury to do a program that will grow this program so it's larger than Hartford. And they are doing something I don't think is as developed as what Hartford's doing, but they're very interested in collaborating, and this grant is kind of an example of how to grow the program and spread it. So Virginia, am I right?
Well, yes. Again, that's fine. My boss, our executive director, is definitely, we have a number of requests on how to implement that whole process and how to grow the funding for that. So yes, we just opened up a new shop in Waterbury, but there's a New Britain. I mean, any city that's receiving citizens needs to have something for them.
Absolutely. Thank you.
So,
and our main thing is not to have our citizens return.
Ms. Lewis, I was just going to ask you that. So full disclosure, my father spent 32 years in prison, federal and in prison in Puerto Rico. And so as my early young years, what do you do, right? You go and you visit your father in prison, and you get to learn, you know, what other inmates are in there for, and you talk to their families, and, you know, then they're the lifers. And, you know, when somebody leaves after 5-10 years, you know, they do what they call a going away party, right? And the first thing they tell them is don't do anything to come back, especially the younger crowd. So that's what I was just about to ask you is, you know, do you keep cases where you can study as to why someone would go back? But you just said that No one has yet, correct?
Oh, people have gone, no, people have recidivated. I mean, people have gone back to prison, yes.
Right, now,
Oh.
have you studied as to why that has happened?
Well, right now, because we have to have a study done, we're in the process of doing a study now. Because we've been doing this for about 4 years, so you got to have some time to anybody to compare this to what the recidivism rate is for DOC. So we're collaborating to get the data together so we can see, you know, have some evidence base that our services actually make a difference. Do people return after our services? Is it higher than DOC or lower? I would want to think that it's lower because we have more direct interactions with participants. But we have to wait. I think we're in the process of gathering the data right now.
Okay, so I'm going to take this conversation, you know, another time offline, so that we could get to our other presenters, but we will schedule a tour with your office. And thank you for everything that you do. Great job.
Thank you.
Okay, so next to speak is it Shelley McMillan, University of Hartford?
Yes.
Hi.
Good evening. Good evening. I am the manager of the CDBG funded Hartford Small Business Technical Assistance Program, which is part of the University of Hartford's Entrepreneurial Center. We provide training and one-on-one technical assistance to small businesses in areas such as marketing, which includes strategy, websites, and social media. We also help with business plan development, financial management, loan packaging, human resources, all of those things, all of those skills that you need to build a small business. And we focus on helping our clients retain their existing jobs, create new jobs, access capital, and increase sales and profits. Now, we work with small businesses in every neighborhood throughout Hartford. And over the past 3 years of programming, 88% of our clients have been women-owned businesses and 93% minority-owned. And the grand majority are Hartford residents. I wanted to share a little bit about 3 of our clients. Is it possible for me to share my screen? I think you're muted.
I'm sorry, absolutely, go ahead.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Okay, so first, this is Chantel Bossier Kelly, who with her husband runs Capital Ice Cream right down on Capitol Avenue. And when she came to us, being an ice cream shop, that local market is really important. And in that area on Capitol Avenue, there's not a huge amount, you know, there's a very small neighborhood. So she was really struggling with her business. And with our help, we were able to help her find ways to expand out into other areas in Hartford, like through a cart and through events. So she and her family have been able to start to hire staff. This has been a very exciting success story. Next is Yahaira Rodriguez. She's one of my favorite stories. She actually came to us originally. She had a little kind of a side gig with a jewelry business. And we sat down with her and we ran the numbers and we said, you know, you're losing money on this business. Let's think of something else you could do. And so she kind of hemmed and hawed and looked around and it took her a while and she kind of kept coming back. And then she said, you know, what I really want to do is what I do every day for my job. And she works with intellectually disabled adults. And so she recently opened her own program. Very exciting. And for Yahaira, it means more to her. She grew up in a family, her brother has intellectual disabilities. And, you know, she saw how much her mother struggled to provide services to get services for her brother. And so she puts her heart and soul into this. And we were so very excited when she finally opened her doors earlier this year. And the third one I will share with you is Taniqua Huguli, who, oh my goodness, this young woman's amazing. I just can't wait to see what she does in life. She, with TKH Global Consulting, she does a few things. She does some marketing for different for other small businesses. She also helps young people with their college application process. And she has a third stream called Black Girls Achieve, and where she goes into the high schools and the middle schools with programming, looking to empower young women. And I think, this is a great example of what a lot of our small business owners do, because they're from this community. Their business is more than just supporting themselves, although of course that's a very important piece. The business is also about building their community. It's about giving back to their community and building it and helping their communities become more sustainable as they become more economically sustainable. During our 36 years of working in the greater Hartford region, the Entrepreneurial Center that is, we've identified accessibility to technical assistance as a key factor in determining the success and sustainability for small businesses, but particularly for women and minority-owned businesses, because technical assistance is very expensive. I mean, making a website, building a social media campaign, these are small business owners, they're experts at what they do, but they also have to become experts at running a small business. And as a past small business owner myself, I owned a business in Hartford for 13 years. I know how hard it is to wear all of those hats. And so we help our business owners to wear those many hats and to do it successfully. I also wanted to mention that although we are part of the University of Hartford, we do not receive any funding from them. We're 100% grant funded. So the funds that we get through the city of Hartford are definitely a vital piece of what allows us to continue providing the personalized technical assistance that we offer to our clients. We don't do anything cookie cutter. When someone comes into us, we really look at them, what they need, what their skill set is, what their goals are, and how we can help them get to that next level. So I am very grateful that you have supported our project since 2011, and thank you so much for recommending us for continued funding. And did you have any questions for me?
I don't have any questions. I just want to thank you for a great presentation, and thank you for what you do on a daily basis. Councilman LeBron?
Yes, so I just want to say Taniqua Hughley is my peer and classmates. We got our masters together. We were in 13 of our 14 classes, and she is absolutely amazing.
Isn't she just astounding?
Yeah, I'm proud to call her a friend, and we talk often. So thank you for your support and seeing that the talent and planting the seed for Taniqua, and thank you for helping her.
You are welcome. Thank you for sharing that.
Councilman Sanchez?
Just want to say thank you for your presentation and everything that you do. I just want to echo Councilman LeBron's comments. So thank you so much.
You're welcome, and thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Wonderful. Okay, I think we're down to our last presenter, Lily Saint Amand. Am I saying that correct?
Yeah, it's Lily Saint Amand. Yes.
Yes.
That's very French Canadian. So thank you for allowing me to speak tonight. I'm a teaching artist with JDPP, which is now Justice Dance Performance Project, formerly known as Judy Dance Performance Project. So I am a hip hop teacher and have been teaching since the age of 16. I've taught a lot of kids in a lot of different places. Being a part of JTPP and teaching in Hartford school systems with their Moving Matters program was definitely a different teaching experience for me. I remember walking into the schools on my first day feeling like this was just going to be a regular kind of class. I was going to read the book, teach the basics of breakdancing, and then we'd recreate a routine all together. Well, I certainly was not prepared to create such strong and wonderful bonds with these amazing children. These kids took this program in and soaked it up like a sponge. The excitement the kids displayed when I walked into the room was unmatched. I have never had students so excited to learn. These children appreciate this program beyond measure. We taught 10 classes at Parkville and 8 at Moylan this year. We used a multi-art approach with movement, music, theater arts, and visual arts. One of the classes I taught at Moylan Elementary School asked the students to draw what was in their heart. Sorry, I lost my spot. Here we go. Okay. By the time everyone was done drawing, many of the kids were yelling, "Look, Miss Lily, I drew you in my heart." It is moments like these that bring me to tears. It means I have impacted a child's life. If Moving Matters didn't happen, this would never happen. We wouldn't be able to spread our love and express ourselves through art with the kids. They wouldn't be able to draw me in their hearts, and they wouldn't learn valuable new ways to express themselves. I would like to share with you an example of a child who grew a lot with me in this program. When I first started teaching this class, there was a boy who was withdrawn, stayed in the back of the room, and ignored by the other students. One day, while I was teaching the dance routine, I saw him try to punch someone. Instead of yelling at him, I asked him to dance with me in the front. I then separated everyone into partners so they could dance battle. Instead of pairing this particular child with another child, I asked him if he would be my partner. After that day, we were always partners, and he always danced in the front near me. He even started to talk to the other kids in the class. Art is more powerful than many realize, and that example is only one of the many amazing things that happened during Moving Matters. I strongly urge you to continue to support JDPP with your funding so we can continue this magical work. Thank you for your time.
And thank you for your presentation.
You're very welcome.
Councilman LeBron or Sanchez, did you have any comments or any questions? You're both on mute.
Just want to say thank you for your presentation. Thank you.
Councilman LeBron?
And thank you for your continued work. And how long, the question is, how long you've been in, it's been in existence?
How long has the program been in existence?
Yes.
Like 28 years now, maybe a
Yeah.
little over. Yeah, I'm new to the program. I haven't even been with them for a full year. And honestly, I'm pretty blown away. Like I've taught at a million different places. I've been on the scene. This is so my jam. They do so many amazing things. And I'm actually going to start with their other program that they do in the juvenile correction centers. So I'm really pumped. I just think what they do is super awesome, and they really practice what they preach. So
Yeah, my daughters were a part of the program many, many years ago when they were 5 and 6 years old.
oh, that's awesome. I hope they enjoyed it because it's really fun. At least I have fun with them. So
Well, I mean, they realized that they couldn't continue on and they found something else, but at least they learned it early.
yeah, there you go.
Wonderful. So that concludes our Community Development Block Grant presentations. I have to say, Councilman, I don't know if you agree with me, but I think this is, since I've been on council, one of the best CDBG presentations ever. So Cheryl and Ronnie, thank you so much for the amazing work that you've been doing.
Thank you.
For your dedication and leadership. We appreciate you. And so we'll continue to work together. And with that said, everyone, please have a great night. I want to thank David, my CAO, for the amazing work that he's been doing. and working with the grants department. I appreciate you. Thank you for everything that you do. And to our partners at Public Access TV, thank you very much and good night, everyone.
Good night, everyone.
Night.
Good night.